welcome back to the Sing Confidently Live Creatively podcast. Estelle here. I'm your voice coach for today, and I'm going to tell you three ways that you can develop your singing voice as a musical theater actor. Whether you are just stepping into wanting to be an actor, you're kind of like coming out of having done theater and growing up doing the arts, but then you went away from it for a bit, and now you really want to pursue it professionally. You really want to pursue it with intention and with commitment. I want to help you to really focus on what you need to do to develop yourself as a singer because, as an actor, a performer, you're multi hyphenate. You're doing multiple things. So you're not only working on your acting technique, you're also taking dance classes, but you're also taking voice. You're also working on your voice, developing your voice. And so, even though I know you've been singing from when you were younger, you've been singing for a while, you sung probably your whole life, right? But when it comes to musical theater singing and when it comes to developing a sustainable voice and sustainable technique as a singer, there are some things that are important to develop. So I'm going to help you. I'm going to share with you three specific things that you can start doing to help you develop your voice. Okay, so I'm really excited to do that. I myself am very much like I'm just like you. I grew up loving musicals. I grew up watching all the shows, all the musicals on TV. Like when you're younger, you're watching like musicals on TV, like High School Musical. Well, at least for me, because I grew up in the early 2000s. So High School Musical, Cheetah Girls, Lemonade Mouth eventually. That was like towards the end of my Disney watching era. And Teen Beach Movie. That was like towards the end of my Disney watching era. And what else? Like all of the, I know I'm missing some. Which ones am I missing, you guys? Tell me, tell me. I'm blanking for some reason, but like all of those Disney musicals, like I loved them. I loved to sing all the songs. I learned all the dances. Like that was me. And eventually I started falling in love with live theater too. Like as I did more theater in school and singing in choirs. Like I think it just grew and grew over time. And I would watch eventually I started watching shows like Glee and Smash and I just fell in love with the storytelling of musical theater through song, dance and acting, like the trio, the triumvirate, And it felt like a dream. Like I grew up singing, but I never thought that I had the actual like musical theater sound. Like I didn't have a natural belt. Like growing up, I'm not a natural belter. Okay. I didn't take voice lessons until I was in college. I didn't even think that a career in musical theater was possible for me at all, like until literally my 20s, which I'm in now. So fast forward to now, having worked with multiple different voice teachers, I've learned to mix, which is that development of that connection between chest and head voice and coordinating both of those registers in a way that's healthy. I've learned to do that with ease. And I have a foundation for a belt that still sounds like me. It doesn't sound like anyone else's voice. Like my belt sounds like me and it's still something that I'm continuing to work on, but I have that foundation that I didn't really know how to do before, right? And I just feel so confident that I can now figure out a way to sing whatever musical theater song that of course works with my voice but that I feel like I put my mind to. Like if I put my mind to singing and working on a musical theater song, I have the confidence that I will figure out a way to sing it in a way that fits my voice. And I want that for you. That's true confidence. It's not singing like anyone else. It's not having this perfect sound that someone else could emulate. It's you being able to sing in your own voice and you know exactly what you're doing. You know how to structure, coordinate your voice in the way that's going to help you to produce a sound that's unique to you. And I want you guys to have that same level of confidence, truly. I want you to know how to maneuver and coordinate your voice to sound, create a sound that you love, that is truly yours. And that's why I want to work with you in an online voice lesson because in each lesson I genuinely from very beginning, from the first lesson I'm going to get some information about you to get your background right, but from then on I take you through technique exercises that are geared to helping you develop your voice and I hype you up like never before. Like I was a cheerleader in high school. Okay, so I will hype you up. I will make sure that you are noticing the beautiful parts of your voice that you probably don't notice. Like you probably don't even notice all the good things that are already in your voice because you're so focused on the things that need to be fixed, right? But each lesson, I really focus on helping you build your confidence as a performer. So just want to let you know, please do not sit in doubt or defeat or comparison anymore after you listen to this episode and you learn these ways that I'm going to share with you to develop your voice. I don't want you to stay stuck. I want you to take action. So, if that is for you and you're really ready to not sit in doubt anymore, not to keep comparing your voice with other people, and you're ready to go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio and let's try a lesson together. Just see what it's like. See if you fit with me, if I fit with you, and you think that working together is actually going to help you to build that confidence in your unique voice so that you know that you can like truly go from like, can I have a career in this field? Can I actually sing? Can I actually belt? To no, I feel confident that I can sing any song that I put my mind to. I can figure out a way for it to work with my voice. I can make sure that it works for my voice. So again, creativelybyestelle.com/studio, creativelybyestelle.com/studio. If you would like to try out a lesson together, I would love to work with you. So the first thing that I want to share when it comes to my tip for developing your singing voice as a musical theater actor. Again, the goal is to help you to feel confident as a performer, to feel like um, you know how to work with your voice to create the sound that is unique to you on whatever song that you're singing. And so, in order to do that, I really recommend number one, create a voice practice routine. That means you have a structure for when, how, and how long you are practicing and training your voice as a singer. And it's not something that you do every now and then when you feel like it. It's something that you are doing consistently, regularly, even if it's just 3 times a week to start, even if it's just four. With my younger students who I teach, I'm an associate coach with the studio in North Carolina, and I teach a lot of younger students. And for them, I tell them like start with 5 minutes when you come home from school or 5 minutes before you go to bed. And it's just like a little bit of time that we can then expand. And from there, it's so easy to grow when you start small. So if you're just starting, you don't have a practice routine in place, you need to get one. So definitely start small, okay? And I have some episodes for you that I've done in the past. So episode 225, actually one episode that I want to tell you about. Episode 225, I've recorded this in the past. This one is called Three Singing Practice Techniques to Overcome Fear of Singing Badly. So, in that episode, I kind of go through some practice techniques that you need to incorporate that will be helpful to you. So, you can go to listen to episode 225. But in general, you want to make sure that you have a routine where you are practicing consistently every week. It could be a daily routine. For me, it's daily, Monday through Saturday. I really kind of rest on Sundays typically, or at least I have one day in the week that I'm not really singing or I'm just doing recovery, like some gentle warm-ups and maybe like steaming or nebulizing or whatever. So you come up with what works for you, but you definitely want to start with a gentle warm up, physical warm up, as well as a gentle vocal warm up. I have tons of vocal warm ups for you guys to listen to. I don't even need to tell you twice. If you've been here for 2 seconds, you know I have a lot of vocal warm ups. You can also go to creativelybyestelle.com/warm up, one word, warm up, creativelybyestelle.com/warm up, and you can grab a free vocal warm up that'll just download to your computer or phone or wherever that you're listening. And that way you can have it on hand without having to like open the podcast app. You can just have that saved for yourself. So again, you can go to creativelybyestelle.com/warm up if you want to grab that. But you want to make sure you're starting with a warm up, and that one is a comprehensive one. So that one has like general warm ups as well as a little bit of a technique exercise thrown in there towards the end. So you'll have like a really like your voice will be warmed up by the time you finish that track. So you can go through that for sure, and that's a great place to start. It's less than 10 minutes too, so it's really thorough, but it's not super long, so you're not going to get vocally tired. And then after you do that warm up, you can do more specific technique exercises as well on top of a general warm up. So if you're like, I really want to work on my mix, you can go and do some warm ups for that, which I'll tell you about in a second. And then you want to go to like actually practicing whatever song you're working on. So working through the song, coaching yourself through that, recording yourself and listening back, because you guys know that is the missing piece that no one talks about. You need to record yourself and listen back to yourself. Trust me, it is an experience that is challenging, but is so necessary. You got to be willing to listen to yourself and coach yourself as a singer. And then you can do a gentle cool down at the end. That's the thing that I never remembered to do, but it is important to do that. So For sure. That's the general structure of the routine. I go more into depth on that, I believe, in the episode 225. So go and listen to that episode. If you have no idea what I mean by creating a voice practice, you gotta do it. Like that is number one in order to really develop your voice as a musical theater singer. You gotta have that structure in place that you are working on songs on a consistent basis and you know how to prep yourself before you even practice the song itself. So that's number one. Number two is to develop your mix technique. And what I mean by mix technique, if you want to learn more about the mix voice and what I mean by that, you can listen to episode 89 that is titled Mixed Voice versus Head Voice versus Chest Voice. Singing, I don't really know what the rest of the title is. I just have the link here, but it's comparing the different registers and mixed voice, which is not a register, but is a technique of coordinating your different registers and some other aspects that I talk about in that episode. So that's episode 89. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, or you really need to dig into this and you're having trouble with mixing, go listen to episode 89. You can also listen to a bonus episode I did earlier this year that is titled Sing Higher Notes and Start Mixing with This Vocal Warm Up. So that warm up is taking you through mixing. Um, is like helping you to coordinate your registers and to mix. And that is a bonus episode, and all of these are going to be linked below, so you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And then, thirdly, you can listen to episode 254, chest voice, head voice, mix, and more, all about vocal et cetera, et cetera. Again, I don't remember the rest of the title, but it's episode 254. And that one, I also break down what is the chest voice, what is the head voice, and what is mixed technique. So that's a really, really good episode if you want a comprehensive understanding of what I'm talking about. But basically, this tip is that you need to develop your mixed technique if you're wanting to sing as a musical theater actor, because a lot of musical theater songs, especially in contemporary musical theater, are utilizing a lot of sounds that are influenced by popular and contemporary styles of music, where it's not as influenced by classical music. So more golden age singing, older or more older styles of musical theater were more influenced by classical singing. So there's a sort of singing where you there is still a mix in classical singing, but it's different. It's slightly different way of singing, and it's a little bit more I'll just say like back vowel, like open vowel in the back of your mouth versus the front of your mouth. That's like a general way to kind of think about it. And so with mixing, on the other hand, in contemporary musical theater, there's a lot more emphasis towards belting for a lot of songs, especially for female singers and female identifying singers, but not only, like just in general. There's a lot of this like holding up this note and having a beautiful cry, a beautiful shout out with this, with your voice. And it's a lot of power. It's a lot of, it feels like force, but it's not, because they can't have that much force if they are singing this 8 shows a week, right? If those Broadway performers are doing this 8 shows a week. So what they're doing, and what a lot of those singers are doing, is they are developing mixed technique where they are then able to sing higher notes without losing the power of their chest voice. And so because they're able to mix through that transition from chest to head voice, or the transition from like from the lower register to their upper register, and then they're able to carry still more of that power into their head voice. That's mixing basically. So that's not losing the power of your chest voice, not losing the breath pressure. As you get up higher, you still have enough pressure, and you're able to create a sound that has a lot of volume that can turn into a belt. It can sound like a belt. It can be perceived as a belt, even though you're not like fully singing in chest voice on a high E. You know what I'm saying? Like you're like, who's doing that? Some people maybe, but it's harder and it's less, it's not sustainable. So developing your mix technique allows you to have the power that you have in your chest voice, and in even like some of the less like some of those notes that are in your passaggio where you're not quite in full head voice, but you're able to sing through that passaggio, able to sing through into those higher notes without losing your power. And so that's what mix allows you to do. It's a combination of vowel modification as well as like coordinating your muscles, which we can't see. So we have to do exercises to work through that and whatnot. But the point is that if you have not developed this technique and you don't feel comfortable mixing, transitioning from your chest voice to head voice with a smooth connection, you don't feel comfortable singing higher notes with enough power, then you probably haven't developed your mix technique enough, but that's something we could easily solve together, okay? So go to those episodes that I have listed for you to start working on developing that, and make sure that you are incorporating some of the warm-ups that I do in episode 89, or no, which one is it? In the bonus episode that's listed below, make sure that you're incorporating some of those warm ups into your voice practice routine, going back to point number one. So, number two, make sure that you're developing your mix technique. You got to be intentional about this. It's so important to really grow as a singer when it comes to the musical theater space, okay? And last but not least, get feedback on your singing. This is my third point. Not just the performing or acting through the song, right? Because you might be getting that feedback if you're in a show, like about like, oh, you're acting, or oh, how you're performing the song. You might be getting that feedback if you're in an acting class, right? Or if you are doing like a master class or something like that. But it's what, and that is so valuable. Like sing, like musical theater singing is storytelling. It's still all about the acting for sure. However, it's also helpful and really important to get specific feedback on what your voice is actually doing, the technique of your voice, and whether it's working efficiently and effectively. Like, you need to have someone who can really tell you, like, oh, you're having a little bit of trouble getting to this note right there. You need to prepare yourself a little bit more before you get there. How can you do that? Okay, here's what you're going to do with your breath. Okay, here's what you're going to do with your vowel modification before you get to that note. Like those little things that as soon as you fix them, like it's just, I'm telling you guys, I do this all the time with my students. Ooh, got a little message. Sorry about that, guys. I do this all the time with my students who are working on songs, and they just have a little thing that keeps tripping them up every time. And I'm like, just do this. They fix it in the lesson, and then they're like, oh my gosh, that was so easy. That was so much better. I'm like, all you needed was a little bit of feedback. You just gotta let someone give you that feedback. You know what I mean? So, and the most important thing with this is you need to just ask. That's a, if I have a sub point, if you're taking notes, those of you who are note takers and you're really serious about this career, like this is advice that you need to make sure you write down. Just ask, okay? Just ask. It can be easy and even free. Like it can literally be free to get feedback on your singing, but you have to have the boldness to ask. Ask your music director who you're working with if you're in a show currently. You know, they might be just telling you general notes if you're like in front of other people, but like go and ask them afterwards, like, okay, this note and this note, I'm having trouble. Like, I feel like I'm shaking here. I don't have enough control here. I don't have enough power. They should be able to help you work through your voice if they have some vocal technique background or voice pedagogy background. They should be able to do that. If not, then maybe they can direct you to someone who can help you. But ask your music director. That's one way to do that. Again, that's free. You're already in the show. Just ask them after rehearsal or something like that. You can also ask a friend who is in a show with you or who's in a class with you or choir with you or who you know takes voice lessons. If you are not able to afford voice lessons right now, ask your friend who takes lessons. Like they probably know some things because they're working with a voice teacher that you just might not know, you just might not be able to hear. Ask them to give you feedback on that, on your voice on a particular song that you're working on, right? Before you go to an audition. Or if you're submitting a tape for an audition, show it to your friend first and ask them for specific feedback on your singing, and hopefully, because they've taken lessons, they might have some feedback that can be really helpful for you. So, again, just asking, right? And you can even ask me for free. Like, I am a voice teacher, I have a background in vocal pedagogy. I know how to find this little technique things that can be kind of hard for you to notice in your own voice if you haven't had that training or if you haven't taken lessons in a while or at all, right? So you can ask me. We have a free Facebook group where you can literally drop your questions. You can drop a video or a clip of yourself singing or an audio of yourself singing and just ask me for feedback and I'll give it to you freely. Like it's not a big deal. I don't mind, but you got to get some feedback on your singing. If you really want to build that growth as a singer, as a musical theater performer, you want to feel that growth in your voice, you have to be able to be willing to just ask someone to give you that feedback, ask them to give it to you kindly. If you are feeling sensitive, that's okay. I promise you, I will never give you feedback that is in a rude or disrespectful way because I recognize singing is so vulnerable and it's not easy. Okay. It is simple, but it's not easy. Right. And so I really recognize that. And so I want you to know that you can feel safe asking me a question. You can go to our free Facebook group and you can share in there and I will give you feedback. But just ask. You've got to get comfortable asking for feedback on your singing. And I promise you, that's going to be really, really helpful for you being able to develop your singing voice as a musical theater performer. So that is my third tip for you to do. For my free Facebook community, you can go to creativelybyestelle.com/community and you can just tell me if you need any feedback on something, right? Again, creativelybyestelle.com/community. And that's always linked below in every single one of my episodes. So you can always find that there. But yeah, so those are the three things. Those are my three tips for if you are ready to develop your voice and you're a musical theater performer, but you know that you need to level up your skills when it comes to singing and your vocal technique, or you're just starting to pursue this, but you know you need to really grow in your singing and you really need to grow in your singing when it comes to musical theater songs. These are my top three tips. Number one, once again, create a voice practice routine. Number two, develop your mix technique. And number three, get feedback on your singing. Make sure you go back and listen to the episodes that I've listed there. They're going to be listed in the show notes as well. But make sure that you go back and do some of that research to make sure that you're growing in those areas. And again, if you want to work with me one-on-one, you want to just try out a lesson and see if we are a good fit. See if you are ready to get that feedback from me one-on-one in an entire hour of me hearing you sing and really working with you. I would love to help you with that. So again, you can go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio. My voice lesson spots are open. So I do have some spots available. You can go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio. And I would be so excited to work with you and help you to really develop that confidence in your unique voice so that you know how to work through the songs that you are working on for auditions or for a show that you are in. And I will be able to give you that feedback that you need. Okay. So yay, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. I would love to hear from you which one of these points, which one of these steps you really need to take action on, right? Don't just listen to episodes like this where you have someone sharing with you insight and tips and it's good to listen, but I really want you to try to take action on just one of them. So remember, the first one is to create a voice practice routine. Is that the thing that you need to work on first? Do that. The second thing is to develop your mix technique. Do you need to start incorporating some warm-ups specifically geared towards mixing, right? Or number three, do you need to finally get some feedback on your singing before you go to your next audition, right? So which one of those are you choosing to work on this week? Like you are going to do that thing this week. Can I get an amen? Like which one of those are you going to do? You can come to the free community, again, creativelybyestelle.com/community, and you can come tell me. And I would love to know, and I'd love to support you in that and cheer you on, as you guys know that I do. So yeah, let me know which one of those you are definitely going to be doing this week and make sure you go ahead and do it. All right. Thank you so much again for being here. I hope this helped you. Let me know what else you would like to hear on the show. As always, have an amazing day and I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode and to this show. I'm so in awe of you for being here and showing up for your creative gifts. That takes courage. Don't forget to join the performing arts community on Facebook for support and inspiration as you continue on your journey. If this episode helped or inspired you in any way, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and share it with someone. It means so much. Thank you again, and don't forget to keep singing, acting, dancing, performing, and living creatively. Talk to you next time.